Tonight on KGW News, multiple shootings in just 24 hours. Police reporting at least 7 across Portland, with one of them turning deadly. Plus, calling for change. The services that could be affected after city union workers say they're intending to go on strike. But first,
I'm not the same person, and I don't think that I will be the same person.
a family mourns the loss of a man killed from gun violence, and they're hoping a reward can help find his killer. Your news starts now. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Friday night. I'm Laurel Porter. The family of a man murdered on the second day of 2022 wants his killer brought to justice. Isaiah Hurst was gunned down in North Portland. And this week, Crime Stoppers announced a new reward in his murder investigation. KGW's Alma McCarty spoke with the victim's sister, who says their family is still in disbelief.
Early afternoon, January 2nd, India Hawley got the call, heard the life-changing news from her mother.
Her voice sounded like something I've never heard her sound like before, hyperventilating, and then that's when she told me that the police came and told her that someone had shot and killed my brother.
Her older brother was 39-year-old Isaiah Hurst. She calls him hardworking and caring, a graduate of Grant High School who loved everything about Portland.
We called him Zig, even though his name is Isaiah. The thing that I loved about him the most is he was quiet, but he meant what he says, and he says what he means, and he can be headstrong on things that he believe and he love. And one of those things was his family. He was really a family guy.
Portland police responded to the shooting call around 9 a.m. on this block of North Morgan Street and found Hurst dead from a gunshot wound. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide.
Like 9 a.m. in the morning, broad daylight.
Holly says the last time she saw her brother alive was Christmas Day.
It's just, good conversation. It was never arguments or anything. He was just a low-key kind of guy, which is why this is even more shocking. I can't even put it into words, like how I feel. I'm not the same person, and I don't think that I will be the same person.
She says her mourning family feels anger, disappointment, grief. The pain made worse without a suspect in custody.
There's someone that took my brother's life, and they're still out here living their life day to day, and we are literally suffering and dealing with this every single day. We know that Zig is never gonna come back, and we don't know why, and we don't know who did it. We just don't know anything.
Holly hopes the Crime Stoppers reward announced just this week will compel someone to come forward with information and bring some sense of closure to her family.
I do want justice for my brother.
Now, this goes for every Crime Stoppers reward, but it's worth mentioning again. You can submit tips anonymously. Crime Stoppers offers up to $2,500 for information that leads to an arrest.
Thank you, Alma. In developing news tonight, Portland police officers responded to multiple reports of shootings in the last 24 hours. The map on your screen shows 6 of the 7 shootings across Portland. Police didn't provide the location to one of the reports, but it did happen outside a grocery store parking lot and left one man hurt. The shooting on Northwest 2nd and Cooch also left one person dead. If you have any information on any of these shootings, call police. Now let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. About 1,100 city workers in Portland are planning to go on strike after months of bargaining for a new contract. The current contract expired in June of 2020 and was extended 6 months. If workers walk off the job, it could affect basic services at PBOT and the police and water bureaus. Union members want a 2% raise, among other things. The strike is set to start on February 10th. Today, Portland Public School Board members said they will not be relocating Harriet Tubman Middle School to any existing schools in North Portland. Previously, PPS announced plans to move Tubman after the state approved plans to widen part of I-5 as part of the Rose Quarter Improvement Project. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary was being considered as a possible relocation site, but 2 weeks ago, hundreds of parents and students rallied outside the school to try to convince PPS to rule it out as a relocation option. It is unclear what properties the district is currently considering. The Oregon Health Authority says it will extend masking rules permanently in K through 12 schools. The temporary rules expired today and legally can't be extended on a temporary basis. The OHA says it's working to determine when it will be safe to lift the school mask mandate. State health officials are also reviewing public comments on the mask requirement in all indoor public places. That temporary rule expires February 8th. There is a bit of good news on the pandemic front tonight. Case numbers dropped dramatically in the week that started January 16th. Multnomah County Health tells us the numbers were down by 23%, and that's the first drop since December. Statewide, new cases are also flat for the last 7 days. These could be signs the worst is behind us, but it is also possible more people are just doing home tests and not reporting the results. State epidemiologist Dean Seidlinger said either way, we should still worry about rising hospital numbers, which are nearing an all-time high.
But as I said last week, even if cases have leveled, it will take several weeks for hospitalizations to peak and then return down to levels that are not stressing our hospital system.
Dr. Seidlinger also said the pandemic has been hard on many people's mental health, but he added there has not been an increase in the number of suicides from 2019 until now. Anyone living in Washington can now have access to free N95 masks. They were sent here as part of the federal effort to give away 400 million of them through pharmacies and health centers. The Washington State Health Department doesn't have a list yet of specific locations, but the federal government says they're going to companies that participated in its vaccine program. So think Safeway or Fred Meyer, again in Washington. Masks are limited to 3 per person while supplies last. As we look to tax season, there are 2 new personal income taxes in the Portland metro area. They impact those who earn higher wages. But as Catherine Cook reports, there's a lot more about them people are still trying to figure out.
So I've been getting a lot of phone calls asking, hey, what are these new taxes and what am I supposed to do?
Tax attorney Richard Solar of Solar Whitman is talking about Metro's Supportive Housing Services tax and Multnomah County's Preschool for All income tax. Why all the confusion? It starts with geography.
Well, there's 2 of them. They apply to different jurisdictions. One is Metro, which includes Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington County. The other is purely for Multnomah County.
So you could be paying for one, the other, or both, depending on where you live and how much you make. That's the other part. Both taxes only apply to those earning $125,000 a year or $200,000 if you're filing jointly. You'll be taxed on income earned beyond those amounts. Rates start at 1.5% for supportive housing and 1% for preschool for all. Voters approved both income taxes in 2020, but last year, as a courtesy to them, employers weren't required to withhold income for those taxes. They will in 2022.
The taxpayers and citizens inside of Metro and or Multnomah need to take their time to go look, because you could inadvertently miss that you owe this tax.
So how do you pay these personal income taxes? The City of Portland Division of Revenue, of course. Confused yet? They actually make it easy. It's the same site used to collect the arts tax if you pay that. The program will calculate what you owe, then you can either download forms and pay by mail or online.
Whether you live in Clackamas, Washington County, wherever, that City of Portland website is the resource for everyone affected by either the Metro tax or the Multnomah County tax.
Back to withholding. Starting this month, employers will be required to withhold income for these taxes for employees to whom they apply. If employees want to opt out of those withholdings, they can file to do that.
The biggest thing for employers is to talk to your HR or your payroll service provider to make sure that they are aware of the change and that the information is getting out to the appropriate employees.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.